Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. Chase Sr. here with you. Here's what we have coming up here on today's program. A big Justin Herbert injury update going into Monday Night Football. A big game for the Birds against the Chargers in LA in Week 14. What Eagles offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo had to say about his house getting egged on Saturday, a day after the Eagles had that listless offensive performance against the Bears. But first, I want to begin here. I have a question for all of you. Do you love the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you want elite Eagles coverage every single day year round? If the answer to that question is yes, hit that subscribe button. We're about 300 people away from 139,000 subscribers right here on the show. So lock us in and join the family right now. All right. Eagles Chargers coming up on Monday Night Football in Week 14. 5 weeks left here in the regular season. Eagles looking to end their two-game skid, back-to-back losses against the Dallas Cowboys, in which they built up a 21-0 advantage and then choked. They didn't score the final 41 minutes of the ball game, and the Cowboys rattled off 24 unanswered points to shock Philadelphia. And then on Black Friday, you're hoping that the Eagles are going to be able to flush that loss against Dallas. Instead, an embarrassing defeat. And this trend for the Eagles so far this year has been quite interesting. They won 4 games to start the year and started off 4-0. Then they lost 2 games. Then they won 4 more games in a row and lost 2. That has led to the Eagles having the current 8-4 record that they have. They're the number 3 seed in the NFC, and they're looking to end that 2-game skid and hopefully win another 4 more games, get into the playoffs, get hot, and then go on another Super Bowl run in what is a wide open league. This is the most wide open that I can remember, the NFC and the AFC being in quite some time. Now, going into this Monday night game against the Chargers, this Justin Herbert injury is looming large for this ball game. Adam Schefter with an update from head coach Jim Harbaugh just moments ago on this Wednesday afternoon that Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh told reporters that his quarterback Justin Herbert, who underwent surgery on a broken bone in his left hand on Monday, that's his non-throwing hand, will not practice today for the Chargers, even if he will be on the field for a walkthrough. The Chargers still are not ready to say whether Herbert will be able to play on Monday night against the Eagles. And I like this Eagles defense a lot. A couple of weeks ago, coming off those consecutive wins in which Philadelphia was absolutely dominant against Green Bay and Detroit, I compared this 2025 defense to the 2024 defense, saying perhaps that the Eagles were younger, more talented, and a little bit deeper. But in the last 2 games, there's no doubt they have struggled against Dallas and they have struggled against the Bears. And against Dallas, they were getting gashed with big plays downfield through the air as Dak Prescott was linking up with George Pickens and CD Lamb. What a wide receiver duo that's ended up being for the rival Cowboys. But the Eagles in that game also struggled to stop the run. And then against the Bears, that Ben Johnson offense looked like a different sport compared to Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo's offense. And the Eagles defense got gashed on the ground. The Bears running for nearly 300 yards in that game. And the running concepts from Ben Johnson, so creative, so dynamic, and so successful. Kyle Monangai, game of his life. DeAndre Swift, more than 100 yards. The first time that the Bears have had 2 100-yard rushers in a single game since 1985 when they won a Super Bowl all the way back then. And so what Eagles defense is going to show up in this game? We're really not sure. I believe in the talent. I believe in the coaching. And hopefully this 2-game losing skid is just a mirage for the grand scheme of this Eagles defense here in 2025, which I think has shown glimpses of being elite with the return of Nakobe Dean and the trade of Jalen Phillips. But they have to get back on track. And obviously context is always important because it's not like this Eagles offense is doing the defense any favors. Yes, this Eagles defense got shredded against Chicago. They couldn't stop a parked car as far as the run game, but they were the reason why this game, which should have been 40-10, was close because they kept this offense in the game and they bent but did not break on multiple occasions until later in the game, the dam inevitably broke. And going back to Trey Lance here, obviously, or Justin Herbert, if Justin Herbert can't play for the Chargers, obviously, Trey Lance going to get the start for the Chargers. He's the QB2. He won that battle in training camp and in the preseason. He was the number 3 overall pick by the San Francisco 49ers out of North Dakota State in 2021. He flamed out there, didn't work out, a lot of injuries, lost his confidence, got traded to the Cowboys. He had some really bad performances in the preseason and in the regular season. And then he goes to the Chargers, and Jim Harbaugh, this is why he's deemed a quarterback whisperer. I thought in the preseason, Trey Lance looked really good. Much more confident player. The throwing motion was tightened up a little bit. The mechanics were a little bit fine-tuned. He's always been a solid athlete, and Harbaugh in the preseason really catered the play calling and the offense to fit Lance's strengths, but also absorb and hide some of his weaknesses. Now, Lance came in last week once Herbert got hurt. Difficult to really gauge and judge how he performed. But if Justin Herbert plays in this game, it's a huge difference compared to Trey Lance. And so we're going to continue to monitor this injury all throughout the week. Justin Herbert this year having a really good season for a very banged up and injured Chargers team. He has 21 touchdowns. That ranks 6th among all quarterbacks in the NFL. 10 picks this year. He only had 3 all of last year, and then matched that with all of those picks in the wild card round against Houston. Herbert has also chucked it for 2,842 yards. That ranks 8th. What's going to be cool on Monday Night Football, and this is what Eagles fans do, they travel really well, but Eagles fans are going to take over the joint on Monday Night Football at SoFi Stadium. And hopefully the Eagles, unlike the last 2 games, give them something to cheer about. Topic number 2 here on the show. What did Kevin Patullo have to say after his house got egged in New Jersey? According to the Morristown Police Department, some Eagles fans egged his house on Saturday morning after that Black Friday defeat against the Chicago Bears. And I thought Patulo, when he spoke with the media today, handled it in a professional way. Here's a direct quote. At this point, ready to focus on winning the game. Unfortunately, that happened. I've been here for 5 years, and it's been awesome. I mean, this is such a unique place to coach and play. It's very special. We've been to 2 NFC Championship games. We've won at Lincoln Financial Field. We won a Super Bowl. The parade, an amazing atmosphere to be a coach and a player. And as coaches and players, we all know that part of our job is to handle criticism. It's perfectly acceptable to sit up here and talk about what's going on, how to fix it, what we're going to do going forward. And we know that. But when it involves your family, obviously it crosses the line. That happened. And at this point, we just got to move on. We're trying to win. That's all we want to do is focus, whether it's my family, whether it's the team. All we're trying to do together is focus on this week. And we've got a long week, which has been good to have an extra day of preparation, go out there to LA and beat the Chargers. So again, I think Patulo did a professional job of addressing this. Nick Sirianni declined to comment on it yesterday on WIP. And Patulo, I think he had to kind of comment and share his thoughts on the situation. And he's right. Like, there's no place in the world for this to happen. And Kevin Patullo's family was home at the time. And can you imagine when your family is home, your house is getting egged? It can be kind of a scary moment. And those of you who are parents, who have kids, who have a family, you know all about that, right? And so I disagree with Eagles fans doing this. I think it was just a couple of dumb kids going out there and egging his house. And look, I'm not going to act like I wasn't a dumb teenager at the point. People in Westchester, Pennsylvania know that about me. You know, when I was a kid growing up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, when I was at Temple University in Philadelphia, there were times where, yeah, we would egg some houses, egg some cars, throw some water balloons at cars, play some ding-dong ditch. It's all a part of the maturation process of life and growing up as an individual. And sooner or later, you're going to learn that you shouldn't be making those mistakes. And so hopefully those kids learn from their mistakes and they understand that what they did was really stupid. Now, it is easy to see why fans are frustrated with this Eagles offense. But even though you're frustrated with this Eagles offense, it doesn't excuse you throwing eggs at Kevin Patullo's house. But the frustrations can be heard if you go on the radio, if you're in the comment section here on Eagles Now, if you're at the link and you're booing the Eagles, which I thought was justified on Friday. We all saw the broadcast. We all heard it. The boos were loud, and they should have been. Because this Eagles offense has the same problems now going into week 14 that they had in week 1. And with all of this talent, the most expensive offense in the NFL, this offensive performance all season has been very lackluster. They're 24th in total yards, 24th in yards per game, 18th in total touchdowns, 27th in first downs, 25th in passing yards, 10th in yards per attempt, 16th in completion rate. Running wise, they're 22nd in the NFL in rushing yards. The offensive line has been awful all year. They're 24th in yards per carry. And then situationally, they're not good either outside of the red zone. 28th in third down rate, 13th in fourth down percentage. They are first in red zone touchdown scoring percentage, but 29th in field goal rate. This Eagles offense has to get better, and the talent is there for this offense to get so much better. So despite there being a lot of talk about a potential reunion between the Philadelphia Eagles and Darius Slay, he had to go through waivers in order to come back to Philadelphia, and the Buffalo Bills have claimed him on waivers, meaning he's going to sign with Buffalo, and that defense all year has been one of the worst units in the NFL. And I don't take Buffalo seriously as a Super Bowl contender, considering how bad their defense has been. And even on offense, I don't love what they've done. They have a lot of wide receiver 3s and wide receiver 4s on the roster. They have been way too Josh Allen reliant. And then on defense, they really haven't been able to stop anybody. And so Buffalo claiming Slay, he's going to go there. He did say going into 2025, he thought this was going to be the last year of his career. He wanted to go to a playoff contender, and despite their struggles, Buffalo still a playoff contender. If you want Eagles coverage every single day, year round, I always have you covered. Be sure to hit that follow and subscribe button right here.